Conflict is an inevitable aspect of any workplace, as organizations bring together individuals from diverse backgrounds. With varying personalities, work styles, and priorities, disagreements are bound to arise. While some level of conflict can be healthy, stimulating innovation, debate, and change, unmanaged or poorly managed conflict can erode morale, disrupt productivity, and even threaten the fabric of a team or organization. Managers, therefore, play a pivotal role in not only resolving conflicts, but also in fostering an environment where disputes are addressed constructively. Effective conflict resolution is both an art and a science, requiring self-awareness, empathy, communication skills, and a toolkit of practical techniques. Understanding the nature of workplace conflict is the first step toward effective resolution. Conflicts can stem from a variety of sources: differences in values, competition for resources, miscommunication, unclear roles, or incompatible goals. Some conflicts are interpersonal, arising from personality clashes or misunderstandings. Others are structural, rooted in organizational policies or resource allocation. Recognizing the underlying cause is crucial, as it shapes the approach a manager should take. For instance, a dispute over project responsibilities requires a different intervention than a clash of personal values. One of the most critical skills for managers is the ability to identify conflict early. Often, workplace tensions simmer beneath the surface before erupting into open disputes. Managers who pay attention to subtle cues, changes in body language, tone of voice, or team dynamics, can address issues before they escalate. Open-door policies, regular check-ins, and anonymous feedback channels can encourage employees to voice concerns early, allowing managers to intervene proactively. When conflict becomes apparent, the initial response of a manager sets the tone for resolution. Remaining neutral and composed is essential. Managers must avoid taking sides or making premature judgments. Instead, they should create a safe space for all parties to express their perspectives. Active listening is key at this stage. This involves not only hearing the words being said, but also paying attention to emotions, underlying needs, and unspoken concerns. By demonstrating empathy and validating each party's feelings, managers can diffuse tension and encourage honest dialogue. Effective communication is the cornerstone of conflict resolution. Managers should facilitate discussions in which each participant feels heard and respected. Ground rules may be helpful, such as allowing one person to speak at a time and prohibiting personal attacks. Paraphrasing and summarizing what each party has said can ensure mutual understanding and prevent misinterpretations. Asking open-ended questions encourages deeper exploration of the issues, while reframing negative statements into neutral or positive terms can shift the conversation from blame to problem-solving. Once the issues have been aired, managers can guide the parties toward identifying common ground. Even in the most entrenched conflicts, there are often shared interests or objectives. Focusing on these areas of agreement can build a foundation for collaboration. Rather than fixating on positions, what each party says they want, managers should help uncover underlying interests, the needs, desires, or fears that motivate those positions. This shift from positions to interests opens up possibilities for creative solutions that satisfy everyone involved. Negotiation is a vital technique in resolving workplace conflicts. Managers can employ integrative negotiation strategies, aiming for win-win outcomes rather than zero-sum compromises. This involves brainstorming options, evaluating alternatives, and seeking solutions that maximize joint gains. Sometimes compromise is necessary, but managers should avoid quick fixes that leave underlying issues unaddressed. Sustainable resolution requires addressing the root causes of conflict, not just its symptoms. In some cases, direct negotiation between the parties may not be possible or productive. Here, mediation becomes a valuable tool. As mediators, managers facilitate a structured process in which disputants communicate openly, clarify misunderstandings, and work collaboratively toward resolution. The manager's role is not to impose a solution, but to guide the process, ensuring fairness and encouraging creative problem-solving. Mediation can be formal or informal, depending on the severity and complexity of the conflict. Not all conflicts can be resolved through negotiation or mediation. In situations involving policy violations, ethical breaches, or repeated disruptive behavior, managers may need to take a more directive approach. This could involve formal disciplinary procedures, reassignment of roles, or even termination in extreme cases. While such measures should be a last resort, managers must be prepared to act decisively when the integrity of the team or organization is at stake. Throughout the conflict resolution process, documentation is important. Keeping a record of discussions, agreements, and follow-up actions protects both the organization and the individuals involved. It also ensures accountability and provides a reference point if similar issues arise in the future. Confidentiality must be maintained, with information shared only on a need-to-know basis. After a conflict has been resolved, follow-up is essential. Managers should check in with the parties to ensure that agreements are being honored and that relationships are on the mend. This ongoing support helps rebuild trust and prevents the recurrence of similar disputes. In some cases, further interventions, such as coaching, training, or team-building activities, may be necessary to address underlying issues and strengthen team cohesion. Beyond addressing individual conflicts, managers have a responsibility to foster a culture that minimizes destructive conflict and promotes healthy disagreement. This begins with clear communication of organizational values, expectations, and policies. Providing employees with training in communication, emotional intelligence, and conflict management equips them with the skills to handle disputes constructively. Encouraging diversity of thought and respectful debate can transform potential flashpoints into opportunities for learning and innovation. Self-awareness is a critical attribute for managers in conflict situations. Leaders must recognize their own biases, triggers, and conflict styles, as these can influence their approach to resolution. Some managers may have a tendency to avoid conflict, hoping it will resolve itself, while others may be overly confrontational. Reflecting on one's own responses and seeking feedback from colleagues or mentors can help managers develop a more balanced and effective approach. Emotional intelligence, the ability to understand and manage one's own emotions and those of others, is particularly important in conflict resolution. Managers with high emotional intelligence can remain calm under pressure, empathize with different perspectives, and adapt their communication style to suit the situation. They are better equipped to de-escalate tensions, build rapport, and inspire confidence in their leadership. Another essential skill for managers is the ability to manage group dynamics. In team settings, conflicts often involve multiple stakeholders, each with their own interests and alliances. Managers must be adept at reading the room, identifying power imbalances, and ensuring that quieter voices are heard. Facilitating inclusive discussions and encouraging participation from all team members can prevent the formation of cliques and reduce the risk of groupthink. In multicultural workplaces, managers must also be sensitive to cultural differences in communication and conflict styles. What may be considered assertive in one culture could be perceived as aggressive in another. Similarly, some cultures value direct confrontation, while others prefer indirect approaches. Developing cultural competence enables managers to navigate these differences respectfully and effectively, minimizing misunderstandings and fostering inclusivity. Technology has introduced new dimensions to workplace conflict. Remote work, digital communication, and virtual teams present unique challenges, such as misinterpretation of written messages, lack of nonverbal cues, and feelings of isolation. Managers must adapt their conflict resolution strategies to these contexts, emphasizing clarity in written communication, using video calls for sensitive discussions, and creating opportunities for informal interaction and relationship building. Preventing conflict is as important as resolving it. Managers can take proactive steps to minimize the likelihood of disputes by setting clear expectations, defining roles and responsibilities, and providing adequate resources. Regular performance feedback, recognition of achievements, and opportunities for professional development contribute to a positive work environment where conflicts are less likely to fester. Encouraging a growth mindset among employees can also reduce the negative impact of conflict. When team members view challenges and disagreements as opportunities for learning rather than threats, they are more likely to engage in constructive dialogue and seek collaborative solutions. Managers can model this mindset by embracing feedback, admitting mistakes, and demonstrating resilience in the face of setbacks. Building trust within teams is fundamental to effective conflict resolution. Trust creates a foundation of psychological safety, enabling individuals to speak openly, take risks, and admit vulnerabilities without fear of reprisal. Managers can cultivate trust by being consistent, transparent, and fair in their decision-making, following through on commitments, acknowledging contributions, and showing genuine concern for employee well-being further strengthen trust and cohesion. Recognition and appreciation play a significant role in preventing and resolving conflicts. When employees feel valued and acknowledged for their efforts, they are less likely to become resentful or disengaged. Managers should make a habit of celebrating successes, both big and small, and expressing gratitude for the unique strengths each team member brings to the table. At times, conflicts may arise from systemic issues within the organization, such as unclear policies, inequitable workloads, or lack of career advancement opportunities. In such cases, managers must be willing to advocate for change at a higher level, bringing concerns to senior leadership and participating in organizational development initiatives. Addressing root causes not only resolves current conflicts, but but also prevent similar issues from arising in the future. Learning from past conflicts is essential for continuous improvement. After resolving a dispute, managers should reflect on what worked well, what could have been done differently, and how future conflicts might be handled more effectively. Soliciting feedback from the parties involved can provide valuable insights and foster a culture of openness and learning. Mentoring and coaching are powerful tools for developing conflict resolution skills within the team. By sharing their own experiences, modeling effective behaviors, and providing guidance and support, managers can empower employees to handle disputes independently. Over time, this builds a resilient and self-sufficient team, capable of navigating challenges with confidence and maturity. In high-stress environments, conflict can be exacerbated by burnout, fatigue, or external pressures. Managers must be attuned to the well-being of their team, recognizing signs of stress and intervening as needed. Promoting work-life balance, providing access to employee assistance programs, and encouraging the use of vacation time can help prevent tensions from boiling over. Sometimes, despite best efforts, conflicts may persist or recur. In such cases, managers should not hesitate to seek external support. Human resources professionals, organizational development consultants, or external mediators can bring fresh perspectives and specialized expertise to complex situations. Collaborating with these resources demonstrates a commitment to fair and effective resolution. Legal considerations also play a role in conflict resolution, particularly in cases involving discrimination, harassment, or other violations of employment law. Managers must be familiar with relevant regulations and organizational policies, ensuring that their actions are compliant and that employees' rights are protected. Consulting with legal or HR professionals when appropriate can mitigate risks and safeguard the organization. Ethical leadership is at the heart of effective conflict resolution. Managers must act with integrity, treating all parties with respect and fairness. They should avoid favoritism, maintain confidentiality, and strive for transparency in their actions. By embodying ethical principles, managers set a standard for the entire organization, promoting a culture of trust and accountability. Ultimately, conflict resolution is not a one-size-fits-all process. Each situation is unique, shaped by the individuals involved, the context, and the organizational culture. Flexibility and adaptability are essential qualities for managers, enabling them to tailor their approach to the specific needs of each dispute. To summarize, conflict in the workplace is both a challenge and an opportunity. When managed effectively, it can lead to stronger relationships, greater innovation, and a more resilient organization. Managers have a central role in guiding their teams through conflict, employing a range of techniques, from active listening and negotiation to mediation and systemic change. By fostering open communication, building trust, and modeling ethical leadership, managers can transform conflict from a source of division into a catalyst for growth. The journey requires ongoing learning, self-reflection, and a commitment to the well-being of both individuals and the organization as a whole. With these principles and techniques, managers can navigate the complexities of workplace conflict and emerge with stronger, more cohesive teams.